Hello, welcome back to all sewn uppers, and a big welcome to all the new people as well. I do hope you like the channel and you hang around. Please get to the end of the video today because it's quite interesting, although it's got a bit of a shaky old start. I think I'm going to explain to you this video. Now, most of it, or a big chunk of it, has taken place on a journey I took from Kent to Stoke-on-Trent, and the weather was particularly bad, which made the traffic bad. The coach got lost at one point, so the whole journey took about 6 to 7 hours, and it was a nightmare. It was a real nightmare. But I had my sewing and I managed to start a project, and by the time I came home, part of it was finished. So it's a strange old process video, which, as I said, takes place on a coach and on a train and wherever I am. So what I will do, I'm going to call it, I'm not telling you at the moment what it is. It can be whatever you want, but the point of this is it's made entirely from junk. And when you see the junk, you'll realise what I mean if I say these things are everywhere and we've all used them at one time, I'm quite sure. I'm going to use this as a basis of an idea for something else, but I'm going to take you along on this bit anyway, and I do hope you like it. It's basically a fabric journal, and it's, for me, it's an ideas journal. It's one of those scrapbook type things that I've done in the past, where I put my ideas in to pull out later as the basis of another project. So that is what this is. You'll recognise a few offcuts possibly, but it's basically the start of the progression of an idea. It's an idea which I've yet to progress to a finished project, if you understand that, if I've explained it. But anyway, on that note, I just apologise if the first the first part of this is a bit shaky, because I've done it on my phone. So that's a big thank you to everybody who's left a message, either here or on Facebook. There's quite a list, so I'm just going to run through them, and I'll try not to make any comments, just the names. So big thank you and hellos and welcome to our new people. First of all, Gillian Brown, Lee Brennan, Christine Preston. Christine, I loved your work on Annie's channel. It was absolutely fabulous. I can't remember Annie's last name to refer her over. If I remember, I'll put Annie's channel below. But Christine, your work is absolutely superb. That's all I can think of saying. Thank you, Christine, for showing it to me, and it is lovely. Next time I get some of your work, I'll show it on this channel as well. Enid Richards, Kath Avalon, Rebecca Sparrow. I always feel I need to comment on your name, Rebecca. It's just lovely, but I'm not going to do that today. Linda Ware, hello Linda. Jackie Galloway, Judy Dawn Leader, Deborah Moyer, Celine Mackenzie Vulcan, Katie Chisholm, Louise Buller, Patricia Clark, Christine Simpson, Jill James, Betty V 4918, Lavon Amaru, what a fabulous name that is. And I think that might be all. I've got a feeling actually that there are people missing, so if you're not on this list, I'm really sorry. So I've made it short and sharp. Promise not to comment. I only made 3 comments, I think. So with that, let's start. Some of us are going to step outside our comfort zones just a little bit, but I hope it's going to be enjoyable. It's going to be a mixed media, but predominantly fabric and textiles junk journal, and it measures 4.5 inches square, so it's very small, and it's a junk journal. It's definitely junk. Now I'm not going to tell you what I've made it from, but I've been saving these things for since before COVID, because I used these things an awful lot locally during COVID in those windows where we were allowed to go out. So see if you can guess. Now there's quite a few giveaways here, so by the end of the flip through you'll probably know what I've used. Now the cover is or was an old very small makeup bag, and I believe it came from Primark. It was given to me for this. I've split it where the zip was. There was a zip along there. I split it, opened it up and used that for this cover. I've had to join it along the spine here, and that is really lovely. So right, clue number one. Now what I've done with this, I've filled it with odds and ends, those little pieces that you offcuts or things that you've experimented with. So this for me is basically a design ideas experimental little folder, and I just hope you enjoy this flip through. This is only the demonstration one. This isn't the one that we're going to be making together on the screen. We have slow stitch here, a plique on a Hessian background with all sorts of bits of fabric. All the pages have been zigzagged round. Here we have a little pocket here, a fabric background, little tuck spot there, and some paper to go in there. That's hand sewn as well around there. And once again we have some applique. I'm just going to make that small, can't get, it's an odd shape. Applique, some trusty bits of lace that we've used, offcuts, some more there, applique, very much like the first example that I showed you. And a lot of these, as I said, are just experiments to see how they work. Page to add paper for journaling or whatever you've wanted to add. This one I've done hand sewing around here. You can see the cross stitches, little cross in the button, blanket stitch, a little bit of shisha. You've seen this in the vintage, the last vintage. It was the Jackie Galloway project I used that in. Yeah, that was on Jackie's project. So you've seen that before. We have some little notepad here for writing, and of course you can write on these as well. I don't know whether this one is actually finished. That's just a collage, but you could also clip some paper here. Then we have quite a pretty page. That's the end of an ice cream. A cornetto, the top of the ice cream there, with some bits of paper there to write on. Collage here, pretty little heart. I believe we used that at one point. That was to hang up. We've seen these under net, and there's a plique, gold applique or gold fabric underneath. I wanted to see how much gold ribbon I needed to come through the darkness, and I think I need a bit more than I have there, but it's just a way of working all your ideas out. One of these little jewellery bags or favours bags with some bits in it. Another one of these from the Jackie Galloway project, and some more writing paper there. Here we have another tuck spot with some more ice cream lids and some paper. Tells you a lot about me, doesn't it, all these ice cream ends. This is a fabric paint, a little bit of fabric painting here, and some slow stitch over it. It's very, very delicate, and it's on a padded background here, and I've had to glue this in. Most of everything else has been machine sewn or hand sewn, but just occasionally I've had to resort to the glue. So look, there's a clue there. Can you see a clue there? And here we have another little favours bag that I've put some applique over, and all the pages are backed with fabric. little bit of applique there. And once again, this could be used to journaling. So just put some paper there. Ah, there's the clue. There's a big clue. Now I've left this as a nod to what the project is. Although I'll probably use this in the title anyway. So a little bit of cross stitch going on there. Very pretty page. This was on a little blue bottle. It was like a favour full of sweets for my daughter-in-law's baby shower. Little boy, obviously. So that's the little boy from the videos, the postcard videos. I just love doing this. So there are 3, but I've got a whole heap of them over here. I can see them. Once again, applique here. And there's another nod to what this is all about. Little tuck spot there, and that one there was reusable shopping bag. I think that came from the works. I'm not quite sure, but look at that. Isn't that nice? Be kind. And that goes in there. A little bit of spare Ada there. A little bit of decoration. That's blank for anything else I want to put in there. I have a little pocket there made up from bits and pieces for some paper to go in. And that is the last page. But on the back here, I've opened it up. So I imagine by now you all know what this is, what it's been made from, and as I said, it really is a junk. And the junk is used coffee sleeves or coffee wraps. Now I've got a couple of hundred of these in a drawer. I had people, friends and everybody, even people I didn't know, my daughter's work colleagues, were saving these for me because they knew I was involved in this project. And look, you see all these? And this junk, they've all been used, cleaned and used, all different, but the common thing is they're all the same shape, they're all junk, and they were all thrown away. Now they don't have to be coffee wraps, because I've noticed on pots of noodles you get these on there now, and you just slip them off. This, oh, it's so simple. This was by Quaker. Oh, Subway there. I thought I had some more there. A little one for baby Chino. That isn't a Costa one. I don't know if that's Nero, something like that. But it's a baby Costa, a baby Chino one there. So I have lots and lots of these, and these are going to form the basis of our project. So, as you can see, when I say grab your coffee, I really do mean grab your coffee. Okay, so grab your coffee, put your feet up, and we'll make a start. Quickly before someone sits there.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Oh, I should be an expert at this.
Yeah, you've done it a few times, haven't you?
So I'm just going to undo that. Ta-da! Another one! That's 2,694. What's your one there? 2,695. See if you can do it quicker than I did.
Oh, you're not going to put a stop clock on the screen, are you? It is likely that if I do that, it'd be torn.
Oh, I don't want any torn wrappers. Oh no, I don't want any torn wrappers. Keep it in one place. Oh, well done. You've done it quicker than I did.
You're the one.
And I've had more practice than you. There we go. So we now have 2 pages for our new project. Yeah.
Ours.
Well, not ours, mine. You stick to the postcards.
Yes.
There's several ways to make these up, and there's really no hard and fast rules. You can do these, join these with pamphlets stitch along here, or do what I've done and machine sew them. But before they get to this stage, you need to collect all the sleeves you want. I've got a selection here, as you can see. They're mostly all different ones. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to work these at the moment. I might do this. I might join them, just fold them in half and machine sew down there. If they're too thick for the sewing machine, I'll do it with string. I'll do a pamphlet stitch along there, and then decorate the pages as I did here. It's exactly as I did this one, and then I'll decorate the pages one at a time. But this time I think I'm going to try it different. I've never seen anyone do this before, so I'm just running on instinct really. I'm going to do this, I think, decorate these before I join them together, before I sew them together. I think at this stage I might decorate these with fabric, maybe both sides, and then once they're all decorated, then I might join them together. But first of all, I'm going to get my sleeves together, or my wrappers I should say, and then decide how to join them together. Now, with some of these disposable cups, the sleeves are really good, but they're hard plastic and you can't rip these off. So all you need to do is just run down the seam like that, and maybe then you'll be able to just tear that round like this, and if we're lucky it should, yes, the sleeve should be able to just be lifted off. Now I find with these sleeves, they're almost plastic like, that sometimes the glue extends down here, so then we have to make them a little bit smaller than they are. I'm just going to run round, keep the shape, the round shape at the top, like that, and let's have a look. Oh, there we go. I've actually got two there. I've got the inside of the cup and the outside. That's a nice, this is a nice Christmas one. Look at that, season's greetings, isn't that nice? So I've, out of that, or from that cup, I've got two there. Now it's up to you if you trim all yours so they're all the same. I've trimmed some of this here, kept the little one here, but these are basically the same size. You see that? That's gorgeous, isn't it? Isn't that lovely? That is really nice. Let's see what the other side of that looks like. Go. Ah, not so nice, not so nice. Oh no, it isn't that one, is it? It's that one. Oh yeah, another teacup. So that is, I think that is really lovely. This one, the demonstration one, I trimmed these were all different sizes, and after I attached them all, I then trimmed them. That is why they're uniform in size, but they don't have to be. They really don't have to be. You can have the large and with the small, mix them up. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Cafe Nero, isn't that wonderful? That is too nice to be covered up, so I will keep that as it is. And I love these as well. They're too nice to cover up. So I'm going to decide now which ones I want and how I'm going to do it. And I think I've already done that just by talking aloud. I'm going to do these now page by page. So I should take each one and decorate them one at a time. Now, as I said, I haven't done this before. I haven't seen anyone do it. I think it's quite a unique idea, unless you know different. So I will decorate my fabric and attach it to the wrappers, and then when I have enough, that is when I will fold them, I think, and sew them. So let's make a start. I need to get the fabric together and work out a few pages. Now, before we do that, I just want to remind you that for each one of these you've got 4 pages. After it's folded, you have 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there you go, 4 pages to each sleeve. So I'm going off now to sort out some fabric and start thinking about the stitches, the textures, and how to do it. Okay, I will be back shortly. So this is the fabric that I've decided to use as the cover. This will be the cover page. I'm going to use slow stitch on it. It's a synthetic fabric. It's really nice, and as you can see, I've already started the tacking there. I've tacked it all together. It did need joining. I've also backed it on a layer of felt just to give it a bit more body. I interfaced it too. You can see the join there where the 2 pieces are joined together. Now this is the back. You can see the felt, and I've drawn around the shape of the cover of the sleeve that I want for the cover, and it's in pen. I've tacked around that shape, and you can see there, to hold it firm, to hold it while I stitch it. Now this will dance. That is why it really does need to be tacked down. I'm going to use 6 strands of thread in my long favourite sashiko needle, and I'm going to start with slow stitch with just our basic running stitch. You can do your running stitches as long or as short as you wish to. Always put a knot in the back. Well, I do, because the back's going to be hidden anyway. So I've started with the flower. I'm going to do the flower first and see if the running stitch works out before moving on to any other shape there. The next part of this is done by phone, and I'm afraid it's a little bit jittery in places. We started the journey at Victoria Coach Station, and it was a really long journey to Stoke, and as you can see, no surprises here. We've left London in the pouring rain, and it stayed this way for the whole journey. But anyway, I had my sewing, had front seats, a nice little table, so it wasn't a problem, and it was quite a nice place to work actually. So this is continuation now by phone. You can see here that the background has now been finished in slow stitch, and I've started on the flower in chains. Once again, 6 strands, a knot and a long stitch. The rain continued, and I managed to do quite a lot in quite a short space of time. You can see there how it's progressing with the chain stitch. The flowers are basically done at this stage, where the outlines are done. Now I need to decide how to continue with the flowers, and I'm only doing within the shape of the sleeve of the coffee wrapper, and so the tacking stitches there you can see are actually guiding my stitches. At this point in the journey, I looked out of the window and knocked my threads down over the side here, down into the stairwell, and if you look down there very carefully you can see them there, and the driver just looked up and said, "Oh, sewing, it wasn't that important then, was it?" and still it rains. You can see not only was it raining, there was also a traffic jam, problems going up towards Stoke. It was horrendous. But anyway, I managed to do another line within each petal of chain stitch. I've brought in red, and I think the red really adds something to it. So it's gradually taking shape. It doesn't really seem to be taking that long. I'm now in the hotel room, and as you can see, I've introduced another colour. I've introduced yellow. Wasn't too sure about having bright yellow on there, but I think it's blending really nice with the other two colours. Once again, I'm still using the chain stitch, variety of lengths, but still 6 strands. Apologies for the socks in this shop, but I looked at my work and decided it needed something else, the addition of something, and it just so happened what I was wearing had the ideal motive, these little blue flowers. Now it's an old top and it's past its sell-by date, so I decided to take a couple of these flowers off and reuse them, and here you can see proof of the missing flowers. Look at that. I was so pleased with them, I actually took even more off and have a nice little pile here in front of me, which I will be using for something else that I have in mind. And I also gained the buttons from the front as well, and all in all I was quite pleased, and it meant I didn't have to stuff it in the suitcase and bring it back. I'm now in the station cafe at Stoke-on-Trent, waiting for the train back to London, and this is how far I've got. You can see I've put the flowers in place. I've used blue and pink, and I'm going to slow stitch them down, and I think that makes a good addition to this piece of work, and it's something I had to do. I've even used the buttons there. It's quite noisy here. It's a lovely station, and it's a really nice place to work actually. So you can see there I'm armed with all my sewing and some spare sleeves here just in case I get short of one, but the front cover's taking a nice effect, nicely. Now I'm on the train, oh, and it was a squash, it really was. There was an overbooking on my seat, someone had to move, and it wasn't a very nice journey, about 2.5 to 3 hours down to London, and yeah, it was hard going, but I have managed to do even more work on there. I'm doing the bird here. Once again, I've outlined it in running stitch, and you can see the all the running stitch there, or the slow stitch on the flowers. Unfortunately, the lady opposite wasn't too happy at having all my bags and my sewing thread thrust in front of her, but what could I do? So here we are. I think it's almost finished. I'm still on the train. I've added some cross stitches here and some pinwheels as well, my favourite things to do. I think the cross stitch actually finishes it off. I need some time now, I think, just to leave it for a while. Normally I'd get up and walk away, but I can't do that on the train, so I just need time now to have a think about it. Right, another train now from Victoria down into Kent. I'm having a look at it again, and I think now I'm going to call it finished, so I can't wait to get home now to finish it off, because there isn't anything else that I can do. So this has been the story, the journey of the cover of my little mini junk journal. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the ride, and I hope it was more pleasant for you than it was for me, being squashed up like I was. But it's looking good. I'm still on the train, and I'm just about to start another page for the junk journal, and you can see now I'm using the surplus flowers from my top. Oh, thankfully I'm home now. That was such a journey and a half. But I've got my sewing out again, as you can see, and I've now tacked down some of those flowers from my dress. I've deliberately left this here like a river and here for some hand sewing, but just for the time being I'm going to press it, and then I'm going to start some slow stitch, possibly running stitch, around these shapes here. I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to do them all the same or whether I should vary the stitch, but I'll get one done first in running stitch, and then I'll take it from there to see what's needed. Now you possibly see here that I've had to join these two pieces of fabric over there, around there as well, oops, down round there, so that the cup fits round. So it's still this shape, it's still going to be that shape, but just with a join in it. And these are little pieces that were in a kit. So going to make a start on that now, and I'll get back to you as soon as I've got something to show. Hopefully by then I'll be back on the big computer. I carried on, and I did as I said. I was going to follow the shape, and I decided to do it in chain. So I've used chain here, feather stitch as well, slow stitch. I think that's all the stitches I've used. And then I cut out the shape of a small, I have to close that window. I think there's a party going on. So I placed it on the smaller wrapper, and machine sewed all the way around it, and then cut the surplus off. So that one is now done. That's going to make two pages, 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. No, so I'm going to put that on one side and show you what I intend for the cover. Now that one's finished as well. So I did exactly the same. I placed this one over a wrapper. I've machine zigzagged, and because I had the shape tacked, it made it really easy to do anyway. And then I've trimmed it. Now you can trim it first, or you can trim it to fit. I probably use all sorts of methods to attach mine. You might even want to glue yours down. I haven't used any glue, but I can understand if you want to use glue. You see these here from my dress, the dress that I cut up. We've used these before here. Few stitches across. I'm not sure if I showed you these before or if they've come out, but I'm really pleased with this. So there we go. That is, I hope, going to be the cover, and then this will go in there, and I'm just going to carry on and make 6. So I have 1, 2 here. I'm going to do 6 and then get back and show you what it looks like with 6, and then see if I need to do any more. Right, so I spent some time now doing these. Now I'm not going to show you how to do them individually, because these are things that we do anyway, and I think you know how to do this by now. Applique, nets, lace, and this one has been machine sewn. So that is 1, that is 2. With this one I like the fabric so much that I've left it just as it is without any sewing on it at all. Oh, well, I say without any sewing, there is actually, look, I've top stitched it here, not with the sewing machine, but with just a running stitch all the way around the edge. And I love this sleeve, so I'm not going to touch this sleeve, this part. I think I might leave it just like that. I think it's beautiful, this one. Cafe Nero, the Tutankhamun exhibition. We now have 1, 2, 3. This is 3. And there's a page like this in the original one, the one that I showed you before, the demonstration one if you like, or the example. So long stitch or running stitch or canter stitch, whatever you want to call this, with some cross stitches here, a plique background, and you can see some really nice lace under there. It's all under the pink netting, the pink net, apart from this, and that is really nice. That's an open weave piece of ribbon, I think it was, that I pulled. I put a spine here, little piece of hessian, and then I've just repeated the technique from here over there. So, and inside I've added, which was another piece that I was working at for a postcard some time ago. Some of these are quite old, maybe a couple of years old, and I oversewn this one. Now, it wasn't originally oversewn, but Jackie Galloway gave me that idea on a postcard she sent me, and it was so beautifully neat, far neater than this, that before I put this one in, I thought I'm going to try Jackie's way, but of course it isn't as neat as Jackie's, but I'm quite pleased with that. So we now have that. That's 3 and that's 4. This was vintage, from a vintage antimacassar, I think. I'm not quite sure. It was in the bit box. It's been machine sewn around here. And how I did this, it's all bits and pieces. All these are bits, that's all appliqued and machine sewn over the top. And I did tack some of these in place and then machine sewed them all down. And that one, I think, has worked really well. Now, as you can see by looking at the edge, I've used up the thread that I had in my bobbin. So it's black along here and white down there, and that really doesn't matter because this is all made from bits and pieces and it really is junk. And inside you can see how some of the machine stitching has worked out here. Now that will be nice. I was going to cover that up, funnily enough, but I thought no, you could actually write along here messages or motivational verses or a diary, dates there, and fill this in. There's all, or you could even colour that in, a mindful practice. There's all sorts of things you could do that, so I've decided to leave it. Here I've left it as well, obviously, for writing. Now, this bit here, I've added a little extension. And all that is, I made up a couple of pages like this. I put, let's have a look. No, it's not that one, is it? That's from a different journal. So I've just made up a few, let's say, naked sleeves here, and I've put them together with a pamphlet stitch. So I made this up first, and then I've attached it to the end or the edge of this. So now we have quite a lot of journaling pages in there. I'm not doing anything else to that. I'm leaving it. Just so, journal here. Now you could dress yours if you wanted. You could add something really nice on there. But I think, no, I want to be aware that what this junk is. And they are, as we know, they're coffee sleeves. So I'm leaving that. And there's plenty of writing, diary, whatever there, and you could actually, and I probably might do some little printing or some squiggles, something nice there. So that is the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm just loosely going to put them in there in no particular order. just to see how thick it is. And we can talk in technical terms, if you like, of signatures. So this could be a signature. Now, as you know, I like OTT, over the top stuff. So to me, that's too thin. That's too thin. You might want yours thin, but I want mine chunky. So I'm going to carry on and make a few more, and when I get it to the size that I want, I'll get back and I'll show you the rest of the leaves. I've got some spare ones there actually that were made for another project. I might see if they fit in this one, but anyway, I still need to make quite a few more, so I will get back after I've made them. I'm not doing this on the camera because you all have access to these. You could even make your own. You all know the stitches that I've used, basically running, and you all know what a plique is. So, and that is all I've done. A bit like, it reminds me very much of making a postcard. So if you want to work along the lines of the postcard, just find the postcard video and I'll put it up here, and that will tell you really how to do these. Okay, but I'm going to carry on there and I'll get back to you when I've finished what I'm going to put in here. So I think I'm going to stop here. It's very tempting to carry, oh, that's one I've missed. It's very tempting to carry on, and as I say on a lot of these videos, oh yeah, see, I could have put that on there. These sort of things are addictive, so be warned. Just be warned and take care, because it's hard to know when to stop. But anyway, I'm just going to flick through these now, and these are all made in exactly the same way as these ones. Okay, so there's no secrets to this at all. They're very easy to do. It's just a wonderful way of using up some junk. So I'll just flick through these very briefly, because I will do a flick through as well. Flip through, I mean, when they're together. Now, there's another one done exactly the same way as the ones I've shown you. So what have we got? We've got a plique round here, a plique. It's all a plique on like a patchwork background. The background was a piece of patchwork that I did, and it was only a tiny piece like that, which I've added to because I didn't like it at the time. And if I hold this up, you may be able to see, look, the makings of strip patchwork at the back and along here. So I've added to that here some lace and some motifs here. You know, the flowers here, the stars, and then all I've done, more applique here, and I've held it down with running stitch all the way around here. And I think this is all running stitch. There aren't any other stitches apart from the machine stitching around the edge, which is holding it to the sleeve. Okay, and here I've just made a little pocket there with another sleeve, and I put that down, placed that on top before I did the machine sewing. So the machine sewing has gone over two edges, the edge of the front here, that sleeve there, and then it's gone right over the edge of this little pocket, and that's holding it firm. And then I've just popped that in there to remind me to mention that. But in there you could put a notebook or whatever you wanted. So that's another one. This one I'm not sure whether I like it or not. I don't think there's much thought gone into this one whatsoever. You can see I've just cut a piece of fabric, and I've machine sewn it all the way around the edge. That's all I did to that, because I liked the fabric, but I don't know if it's actually worked as a sleeve. I'm not sure at all. But what has worked with these and I think these are particularly nice. And once again, these were from a project on postcards a long time ago. That one was. This one's quite new. You might recognise that motif from the front. Where's the front gone? There it is. So that is from the same piece of fabric that came from. And look at the difference. You see how it's the inspiration from the fabric has produced two very different pieces of work. So the inspiration, been inspired by that, the bird, but they look very different. So this is what I mean when I say about not copying. You don't have to copy, but you can be inspired. So the inspiration is the initial fabric, and look at the difference from that and that. So there we go. That's on a McDonald's. And that one, I really like this. This is a tiny little one here. And once again, applique. There's a beautiful big sequin here with some beads. A couple of buttons. That's from that's a label. So one of those buttons were already on there. I just made that little bow and put the tiniest button I've ever seen there. That's Hessian. Oh no, that isn't. That's window cleaning scrim poking out there. Little bit of Ada. Cross stitches will know what that's for cross stitching. Net holding down some applique pieces, and over sewing along here. So that one's done as well. This one, I like this. Now this says Tate, so there's no need to explain where that one came from. And I like this. I like the small dots against the large ones. It's full of contrast, and I just like the design of that. So I'm leaving that. I'm not covering that up. And because it's the Tate, I thought as a nod to the Tate, I'm going to put painting in there. So there's painting, a little bit of a ruff there, frill. And this is a pocket. That is a pocket from a motif. Let me see if I can put something in there. Right, so I could put something in there. A little doily there, and another pocket there, or a tuck spot there. So there we are with that. And here, I'm going to leave that like that. And this you might remember from when we did the wet felting project, and this is one of the demonstration pieces. Well, I've cut it up now. I did wonder what to do with it at the time. Well, now I know what to do with it, and I've cut it up. And the wet felting project is available, so I won't explain how it was done, because that's all been done on another project. That is ribbon in there. We have a little bit more ribbon there, red. And what I've done here is I had a collection of these for another project. I think I explained, and I had them different sizes. So this one has been made exactly the same way as this one. Okay, so that's another one. Oh gosh, I like this, so I'm not doing anything with that. I love that one. And this was very quick and easy to do. I sat and I think I probably did that in about 15 minutes, and that was literally just putting piece of fabric. It was actually the fabric here, the background fabric here, and I just sat and embroidered that. I placed some net over a motif on here, and it was like a fern leaf. And all I've done, place net either side of the centre, and then done some stitches. So I have buttonhole stitch there, and I've woven through the buttonhole stitches, the legs, and then there's chain stitch and feather, buttonhole again, round the button there is running stitch, not hem stitch, oh, herringbone, it's gone right out of my head, herringbone again, applique here held down with long stitch, feather stitch. We have buttons again, and if you can see that they're also on a label, and lacy daisy, single chain, and a couple of buttons there. And I've just put this down for journaling, for writing on here. So that has been secured exactly the same way as before, edge to edge, like so, machine sewn. I've got a coffee coming in. Oh, that's apt. I'm doing my coffee project, the sleeve. As those of you know Glenn's voice, you will know that is Glenn. Say hello, Glenn.
Hello everybody.
You can go now. And as some of you, this might be the right time to say, as some of you know, those of you who are doing the what is it, the swap, the postcard exchange, Glenn and I now share the same address. So and that means well, it's a long story anyway, but yeah, we were getting married. COVID ruined it, and the big move that I spoke about was with Glenn. So bye bye, Glenn.
Oh, my sweetheart.
Oh, sweetheart. Yeah, I like that. Thank you for the coffee. Here it is. Ooh, lovely the lady of the manor cup here. So, I'll just quickly go over this again in case you missed it. Those have been sewn together, machine sewn together, just like that. So, journaling. Okay. And the last one for the time being, once again, I just put fabric down here, same size as the coffee sleeve, and I did initially secure it in place with running stitch. Oh, I'm off screen. With running stitch all the way around the edge, like so. And then I felt a bit worried about that, and I thought it didn't look secure enough because this sleeve, Quaker's Oats sleeve, is a bit weak, and I thought, no, I'm not sure that stitch is going to secure the two together, the back and front, so I've actually done a zigzag all the way around. But I caught the edge of another sleeve, which is Subway, down here, and that is it. Yeah, a little bit of a writing card there, which might change as I construct this, and another one there. You can put what you like in there. So those are all the sleeves I'm using. I've got lots more here, because as I said, once you start, problem is stopping. Now my next step will be to make these up into a small journal. Now I'm going to stick with a large one. Oops, my computer screen. I'm going to stick with the large one for the cover, and that one because I just love this. And oh, it took me hours to do this in the traffic, in the rain, in the noise, in the crowded train, on the coach. Oh my goodness, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. So already this one has history, as a story. So that was going to take pride of place as the cover. And then all I know is now I'm going to arrange them into some sort of order. Now I'm not sure how to go about doing this, whether to make them into signatures. Maybe I think I'll make the screen a bit smaller actually. There. Whether to make them into signatures or just to see if I can put them all together. And I'm keeping the shapes, the round shapes all together here, and the top arcs together, and they naturally seem to fall into place. That one I'd like in the middle. Oh, I think, I'm not sure, but I might have to, let's have a look. Yeah, oh, I don't know. I might be lucky enough to be able to do pamphlet stitch through these. So I'm just going to arrange them all like this, only just for the minute, just to see if it will be possible to just have one. Yeah, it's going to be a fat one, but I don't mind that. I like that. Or would it be best to have maybe a couple of signatures like this? But then, oh dear, I want that as a cover. So will that still go round? Yeah, I've got a few things to sort out here. I can see. I've decided the only way to do this, because it is quite thick now, is to actually glue them. I considered doing the pamphlet stitch, but it's so thick. I think to do that, to make a hole big enough, or make holes big enough along here to hold the pages together, I risk tearing them. So as much as you know I don't like glue on my work, I'm actually going to use the glue. So as I said earlier, these tend to fall naturally in half. Now what I shall do, I'm going to do them possibly in lots of 3, and just insert them into this. This is still going to be cover, and I'm just going to insert them into the cover. Okay, now I have a hot glue gun here, and whenever I've used this, I've given a bit of a warning on this. It gets very, very hot, and as soon as the glue is exposed to the air, it cools down. So you have to work very, very quickly with this. Now all I'm going to do here is, with each of these, find the centre, and you have to work quite quick with this. Probably that's why I don't like it. And put your glue down here like that, quickly. It's already setting, and once you have glued your whatever you're gluing, that's set. You can't move it. There's no room for manoeuvre. Now look at that. That's solid already. It's solid, unlike the paper print or Yoo-hoo, which you can move around. Even PVA, you can move them around. You've got a certain amount of leverage there. This is immediate. Okay, so that is now set in place. I'm going to carry on and do this all the way with all the pages, and we'll see what it's like at the end. And there we are. Now I haven't actually opened it yet, so we can do that together. Just press it in and see how it's looking. Right, so you've still got the wrapper shape going on here. Right. So there we go. Now what I will do is I'm going to put something, a tie, elastic, something tight, excuse me, along or around the center. Where are we? Where's the center? Because I changed the center one. I was going to have that Tutankhamun one, but there, I thought, no, there's a lot of work going to this, so I want that showing. So what I'm going to do, not yet, because I need to dress the pages as well, but afterwards, at the very last thing I do, will be to secure something around here, just to make sure it is secure. Okay, so now I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to dress the pages with some journaling paper or something else, because I'm not quite sure yet that it's finished, not OTT enough. But just for the while, just while the glue is still setting, although it looks as if it has set, I'm just going to tie it for a while and put something heavy on it, like me sitting on it. Okay, so I'll get back to you shortly. I'm now going to call this finished. I've dressed some of the pages, but I haven't used much ephemera because I think that's a personal thing that you would like to choose anyway. But I'm just going to do a flip through and explain a few things. Now, as you can see, it is tied with some ribbon, and I'll explain that at the end, what the ribbon's about. I'm just going to undo that. Now, before I do that, actually, I'm just going to show you it is a great big thing. It's part scrapbook, it's a journal, it's all sorts of things, and it's whatever you want yours to be. And of course, you can make yours as thick or as thin as you want. Obviously, my journals are always like this. I haven't learnt the art yet of keeping them very, very fine, shall I say. Anyway, I'm going to run through this. As I said, front cover, and it is quite heavy as well. Well, not so much heavy, but awkward to do this, hold it with one hand and turn the pages. So you've seen that. Just a little bit of something I found in an old book. These fell out, so that was found in an old book. I've no idea what it means, what it is, so I've put that there. Now I've added quite a lot of paper for journaling, for writing. Right, I need that on the screen. So on that, very, very nice sleeve. Now this is from 1958. So there's plenty of places here for journaling, or even sticking more ephemera there. Another one. Now everything I have here has fallen out of various books at some time. It's all vintage. That is vintage. That isn't. That was on a charity shop. I think it was on charity shop something or other that I bought. But look at that, just nice for writing. And of course you can still see the sleeve as well, and I like that. So there's that one. A little bit of writing could go on down there. This is the back of a sleeve as well. Now this little kit here, sewing kit, I got from a hotel, and I've only just found it again. Now there are needles here. There's 4 needles there, and some thread there, buttons. Now I think the way that I put this in, because I've had to glue a lot of these, I don't think the buttons will come out, because yeah, I've actually glued that down. So you could get something behind there like that. So something that can go behind there. But this is actually glued to a little flap, a little hanger that you would hang that up by. So lots more things to do there. There you can do some journaling there, or some writing, whatever. Now, as I said, all these pages are vintage. You can see this, obviously library book, some 15th of July 1958. Good grief. So this is 66 years old, this piece of paper. Libraries there, libraries, farm, I think that says Farnborough there. So we put that back in there. Lovely. Same here, more paper from a vintage book. I found these. I think they were earrings. I've taken the findings off at some time. I'm not sure if they were earrings or big sequin. Oh, they could be big sequins, because I can see 1 hole, 2. There are 3 holes there, which could suggest sequins or maybe a necklace even. So I've just glued that down part way for some paper that can go in there. Of course you can use paper clips as well. another little pocket there, and that is where the sewing kit came from. I found that in the box, little sewing kit, and I thought, oh, that would be nice as well to pop in there. A few notes. I already spoke about that one earlier on. That's lovely. I'm going to leave that just as it is because I just love the shapes on there. But I've just made this a little bit bigger. Where are we? Oh, that's better, isn't it? Good grief. That's better. Here we have from a child's book. Also vintage, I believe. Lots of places. Here you can see how this one folds out for writing all round. It's quite nice. It's a big page. It's got children on it there, and then it folds up like that back set to the size of the page. Kept that because I like that. Didn't want to put anything on these, that was deliberate. And here we have the middle. Now in the middle I have hot glued the ribbon just in here, about 2.5 centimeters, 1 inch along there, so I can pull this tight like this, just to make sure the leaves, the sleeves, the leaves, pages, whatever, aren't moving. So when I finish this, when I do that up, that will be pulled to secure them further. Something else that fell out of one of the books. Ho ho, something's following me. I think that's quite funny. And more vintage paper, and it's all beautifully brown. No tea stain, no coffee stain, it's just natural. And you can see there, look, 25p. Good grief. There are a lot more than that now, aren't they, books? What does that say? To Valerie, with best wishes for a happy Christmas, Auntie Eve and Uncle Tom. So there we go. That goes back there. There's another one of those earring sequins. That's purely for decoration, that one. I can't remember if I did anything here. Yes, here I added a little bit of card in the shape of the sleeve. A little bit of writing. And all these sleeves, look, they're beautiful as they are for writing. So they didn't need any attention. Any more decoration. This is lovely as well, from a vintage book, a random number table, and I think it's to do with a story in the book. So lots and lots of places there. You can see the beautiful dark brown of the aging around the edge. It's really gorgeous. I hope you can see it. It's a very bright day today. I'm hiding behind a curtain doing this. You can see along there, lovely, lovely colour. So that can go back in there. Actually, I think I folded it again. In there. And a little bit of machine sewing there. That was a sample bit that came with the sewing machine. No, I didn't do that. But I just think, oh, that's lovely. And it strengthens a hole as well that's behind there. Nothing spectacular about that, but you've seen those. On that page that I didn't like, the fabric that I decided that I didn't like, I just put down a square of paper. It was actually a lightweight card, and I've only glued it on 1/4 there, so it still folds up. There we are. Here I've used another sleeve, and I've cut away some of the outside shape. Here I made a pocket, and this, you saw this before, it was actually the other part of this, and that will go in there, because on the back of this there's a nice bit for writing. But not only this is very firm, so it will make a writing board for your pages, so you can lean on that because it is firm. So I'm going to pop that back in there, and just a little bit of decoration there I found on the table. And look at this, I make that bigger, that says 1968. So that is what is that, about 55 years old, something like that. It's a calendar, and I have glued it down just along there and put some more vintage paper in there for writing. Lots and lots of paper, lots of writing on there. And that is finished. That's the end of it. As I said, this is very very big mouth, wide mouth. Bit on the mouthy side is this one. Now I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Right, oh, you see the keyboard there. So now this will come round here, and I'm just going to tie it up here, cross it over and bring it round, so that is nicely secured like so. I'm not sure about this ribbon. It's not a very attractive ribbon, is it? So I possibly will change that. But there we go. One coffee wrapper, sleeve, a journal, notebook, whatever you want to call it. There it is. To me, it's a bit of an ideas book, and it's a bit of a journal. It's quite a lot of things actually, because I have got a lot of ideas in there of where I can now elaborate and maybe form the basis of a wider project. Just these, for instance, will make a great project. I love the flower there. It's just an idea. So I hope you enjoyed that. Do have a go, because look, we're rich in all this, and as I said, this really is based on total rubbish. Okay, so good luck to all those people who are doing the postcard swap. There's some ideas in here that I will be using on my postcards, so to you people, you're going to see some of these ideas again, and you're going to think, oh my goodness, I saw that in this. Well, yes, you'll be right. Okay, so anyway, all keep safe, and I hope the weather is really nice where you are. So I'll speak to you on Facebook and in the comments, and thank you very, very much for all your support and your comments on Facebook and on YouTube. So until next time, which will be very, very soon, good luck with the postcards, and I'll speak to you all soon. Don't forget, those of you who need to email me, my address will be at the bottom. My email address will be at the bottom of this. Okay, look forward to hearing from you. Take care now.